We're gonna make granola in 10 minutes.
And you're never gonna believe what secret ingredient brings it over the top.
Stay tuned to check it out.
The prep for this recipe is 3 quick, easy steps.
We're gonna mix the dry ingredients, then we're gonna mix the wet ingredients, then mix them all together before putting them in the oven.
So make sure your oven is preheated to 375.
The only 2 dry ingredients you need are the oats and the nuts.
We need 1 cup of nuts for this recipe, and you can use almonds, cashews, pecans, walnuts, Brazil nuts.
Brazil nuts?
They're so healthy, actually, for you. Pistachios, any kind of nut you have. You can use more than 1 as long as it amounts to 1 cup.
Whatever nut you choose, we're gonna rough chop it to make sure it has a size that goes well with the oats. We're okay with smaller pieces, but you really don't want these big nuts or whole nuts as part of your morning granola. We'll put it in a big bowl. This is the bowl where we're gonna mix all of the ingredients later, so make sure it's big enough. And to the same bowl, we're gonna add 4 cups of oats. And by the way, we're using old-fashioned oats. You don't wanna use quick oats. That doesn't really go well when you roast it in the oven.
Totally.
Set it aside.
For the wet ingredients, it's 1/3 cup of canola oil or safflower oil.
Yeah, you don't wanna use olive oil. It just has distinct flavor.
Heavy flavor.
4 tablespoons of maple syrup. Now that's gonna get the granola with a very mild, sweet flavor. If you want it to be sweeter, add another tablespoon and make it 5 tablespoons. And the last ingredient?
The secret ingredient, tahini.
Whether you have a brand new container or used tahini that was in the fridge, it's always gonna be separated because it has oil floating above the sesame. Personally, the most efficient way I found is to take a chopstick and just stir it.
She's a witch.
Make sure you go to the bottom because there's a lot of solids and you wanna loosen them up. You wanna get all that oil integrated with the sesame paste, which is what tahini is. Okay, I think we're good.
So we're gonna put 4 tablespoons straight into our small wet ingredient bowl. If you really love tahini, you can add 2 more tablespoons, but the 4 tablespoons will give you that sesame flavor that is so delicious.
And you can use a fork or any small whisk if you prefer. That's it.
Beautiful.
We're gonna mix it all together. We have our nuts, our oats,
our tahini, oil, and some maple syrup.
And because I love this stuff so much, I'm gonna take a little spatula to make sure I get all of this goodness. All right, and just mix it all up. Doesn't look like much, but I promise you it's enough. You just need to make sure that all the oats are covered.
Mix it well.
Now, in case you're wondering, you can totally add any dried fruit, raisins, cranberries,
cherries, or apricots.
But you wanna add those after the granola is roasted
and cooled off.
Yeah, because this is a fairly big quantity, we're gonna spread it over 2 trays. And because we're kind of lazy to clean, we're just gonna cover the trays with some parchment paper.
So we have the 2 trays ready to go into our preheated oven at 375 degrees.
And we're gonna roast it for about 15 minutes. Flip them a little bit to make sure they're roasted and brown evenly. Okay, let's take a look. So it's starting to brown, but it's not quite there yet. So we'll just give them a toss and continue roasting. But the smell is so good. We have about 7 or 8 minutes left, but keep an eye on it. It may be ready a little bit before or after, depending on your oven.
Looks toasted to me. See how it's all dry and individual? Not clumps. That's how you know it's done.
And here's another advantage of using that parchment paper. When you put it in the bowl, you just slide it straight in. There you go. That's it.
No, we still have to add raisins or any other dried fruit that you like. Yeah. Add about a 1/2 cup of raisins.
It really depends how much you like raisins. Personally, I would put it in 2 containers, one with and one without, if you want the option. Mix it all together.
Now it's finally done. I like to eat granola with a big bowl of yogurt and some fresh fruit.
My kids just eat it straight out of the container.
No matter how you eat it, make sure you store it in an airtight container. It will last you for a few months. I think this may be the quickest video we've made so far.
I think so. So if you want to see more, make sure you click below and subscribe.
See you soon.